purpose of this gathering is very momentous. Tonight, the parish council took a unanimous vote to accept the offer from Bank Ohio for a loan commitment on building construction and on a permanent financing for $2.5 million.
The total cost of the project will be how much?
$4,655,000.
655. Okay, so that.
Iconography, it'll probably go around $5 million.
Okay,
So we're signing the commitment to go with Bank Ohio for financing.
Great. I will come and join you.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't wait for you guys. That doesn't.
Well, the last step in our financing plan for the building of the cathedral involved a commercial loan involving construction money and permanent takeout money from the National City Bank, which is now which was then Bank Ohio. And you'll see that we signed that note to borrow $2.5 million for construction purposes, and at the same time, we paid for them to have a takeout mortgage of $3 million when we completed construction.
Mickey, this is a historic time in the history of our church. We're building a $5 million cathedral to God and to perpetuate our ideals. It's been a combined effort, and I'll tell you, I'm proud and I am very, very appreciative that I'm in this position today working to see this project come to a close. We've been very fortunate that we've got an architect who is with us all the way, who spends countless hours supervising and overseeing the work of the construction. We've got an energetic parish council, and our parishioners have risen to the demand of not only contributing money, but contributing their effort and their time. And you're going to be surprised, and I think that people are going to be surprised, that this church is going to be paid in a lot shorter period of time than we've ever imagined it was going to.
My name is Father Anthony Saris. I attended the seminary in 1944, and I finished in 1949. I was married and ordained a priest in 1949. To Columbus in 1962, the 1st of March.
So that makes 26 years in Columbus?
That's correct.
State your name, sir.
George J. Contachonis.
And what is your profession?
I'm a architect.
Architect. Are you responsible for this fantastic designed new cathedral for our community?
I'm not.
The truth.
My office designed it.
Your office designed it under your constant and unrelenting supervision.
Yes, and all the assistance of all the able-bodied members who contributed their advice and opinions and comments and so.
My name is Jim Gillette. I have been on this parish council since 1950.
I think you invented it, didn't you?
I have been president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, chairman of the architectural committee when we built this addition. I am co-chairman of the architectural committee that is now building the present cathedral.
My name is Charles Zagurnis. Yes, I've been the fundraising chairman for the purchase of the land and the fundraising chairman for the building fund for the new church.
My name is Tom Chase, Athanasios Tsaousis.
Tsaousis.
I was first elected to the board in 1956. I was secretary and treasurer for a number of years then, and I've been on and off of the board. And I think now for probably the last 10, 12 years I've been on steady, and of course 6 years as president.
Hi Mickey, my name is Nick Alexander, and I'm pleased to be here tonight. I've been on the parish council, I believe, since the 1980s, and have served as secretary of the parish council all these years.
My name is Nick Sulis.
This is my third term.
My name is Manuel Zagurnis. I'm a physician in Columbus, Ohio, and Dean of the College of Medicine at Ohio State University. I've been on the parish council about 15 years.
Το όνομά μου είναι Γεώργιος Παντίδος. Έχω γεννηθεί στην Ελλάδα, στη Σπάρτη. Έχω υπηρετήσει 7 χρόνια, τα οποία είμαι ταμείας όλα τα 7 χρόνια.
υπερευλογημένης εν δόξου δεσποινήσιμον Θεοτόκου και αϊπαρθένου Μαρίας με τα πάντων των Αγίων μνημονεύσαντες εαυτούς και αλλήλους και πάσαν τη ζωήν ημών Χριστό το Θεό παραθούμεθα. Πατέρα εν ειρήνη προσφέρει. Ελέον ειρήνης θυσίαν ενέσεως. Η χάρις του Κυρίου ημών Ιησού Χριστού και η αγάπη του Θεού και Πατρός και η κοινωνία του Αγίου Πνεύματος με τα πάντων ημών και μετά του πνεύματος σου. Ανάσκομεν τας καρδίας, έχομεν προς τον Κύριον. Ευχαριστήσομεν το Κυρίον. Αξίον και δίκαιον. Των επινοικιών ύμνων άβοντα, κατά πάντα και δια πάντα.
Some financial experts warned us that we were heading for bankruptcy, but we all realized with the admonition of Father Saris that churches are built primarily by faith and secondarily with money. The rest is history.
Υπέρ της όλοθεν ειρήνης και της σωτηρίας των ψυχών ημών του Κυρίου δεηθώμε. Κύριε ελέησον. Υπέρ της ειρήνης του σύμπαντος κόσμου, ευσταθίας των Αγίων του Θεού Εκκλησιών και της των πάντων ενώσεως του Κυρίου δεηθώμε. Κύριε ελέησον. Υπέρ του Αρχιεπισκόπου ημών, του Τιμίου Πρεσβυτερίου, της εν Χριστώ διακονίας παντών Κυρίου και του λαού, του Κυρίου δεηθώμε. Υπερπλέοντων, οδηπορούντων, νοσούντων, καμνόντων, εχμαλώτων και της σωτηρίας αυτών του Κυρίου δεηθώμε. Υπέρ των ίστινε ημάς, από πάσης θλίψεως, οργής, κινδύνου και ανάγκης, του Κυρίου δεηθώμε. Αντιλαβούς όσων ελέησον και διαφύλαξον ημάς ο Θεός της της Παναγίας αχράντου, υπερευλογημένης εν δόξου, δεσποίνης ημών Θεοτόκου και αϊπαρθενου Μαρίας, με τα πάντων των Αγίων μνημονεύσεντες, εαυτούς και αλλήλους, και πάσαν τη ζωή ημών, Χριστό το Θεό παραθόμεθα. Ότι πρέπει η πάσα δόξα, τιμή και προσκύνησης, το Πατρί και το Υιό και το Αγίο Πνεύματι, νυν και αεί και εις τους αιώνας των αιώνων. Αμήν. Ευλόγη η ψυχή μου των Κύριων και πάντα τα εντός μου το όνομα το Αγίον αυτού. Τες πρεσβείες της Θεοτόκου σώτερ σου.
Computerized music system was installed and bells chimed the hour. Twice a day, the short north is treated with the sounds of our hymns.
In the building not only of a church but of a legacy for our community.
On behalf of the parishioners and the parish council, we want to thank each and every one of you for taking time to come here today and participate with us in this memorial that we've accomplished. It's been a very, very tough job to proceed, and we're going to have some tough years coming ahead in order to pay for it. We want to remain unified as we have up to this point. We welcome the community to participate.
And has been said, it's taken quite an effort by the community, and it'll take a lot more to pay the rest of the bill. So we are very, very proud to have been involved and to be part of it, and we're happy that it's going so well.
Through the prayers of our Holy Fathers, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Let us depart in peace.
These are the
Γιώργης Φουλάκης. Γιος Παντίδος. Γυναίκα του. Κύριος Κορονέος.
Κύριε Πρόεδρε, έλα και εσύ εδώ, έλα και εσύ.
Chris George. Bruno Salvatori of Florence, Italy, was commissioned to cover the dome with mosaic icons. He began his work in his studio near Florence, Italy in May 1999. He brought the first sections on June 28th and completed the Pantocrator. Icons are made from various materials: wood, marble, ivory, can be adorned with enamel, gold or silver leaf, precious stones. Icons can take the form of mosaics composed of tiny marble pieces or color glass, as in our cathedral. Our mosaic iconography has over 51 million of colored glass pieces. The Pantocrator, that is the holder of everything, covers 1/3 of the space in the dome with 24-karat gold leaf. 24 rays correspond to the 24 windows in our dome, uses clair de lys as design. This is the flower of the Annunciation, which our church is dedicated. Between the rays in the dome are 24 Old Testament patriarchs and ancestors of Jesus Christ. The 4 evangelists supporting the dome are similar to the ones in the monastery of Stavronikita at Mount Athos. They are metaphorically and literally the defenders and supporters of our faith. Some portions of the mosaics were made in Italy and shipped to Columbus to be completed by Bruno on site. Bruno then returned to his studio in Italy and created the 4 evangelists in November 1989. The Platitera, meaning the one who is wider than the heavens, is in the Alps with Christ's child blessing. It is also copied from Stavronikita's in Mount Athos. Bruno made his last trip to Columbus in January to complete the Platitera in May 1990. The central chandelier is 10 feet wide and 20 feet tall and has 234 lights. There are another 34 smaller chandeliers made of salad brass. The moldings were created by Mrs. Anna Christoforidis and were patterned after Byzantine Christian art found in early churches. She led the artistic choices for the interior of our cathedral. The scaffolding was removed in April to reveal a masterpiece of artwork.
It was valuable, and so I want to document this. As I was doing that, I did get permission to go into the hard hat area. Most people were not allowed to do that because it was all ribboned off, because there were things that could fall on your head and kill you. The scaffolding was 6 floors up, and a hammer could fall and ruin you. And they gave me permission to go into those areas and videotape. And this is how I came to meet Bruno. I would never have known who the man was if I had not been allowed to go in, because he worked on weekdays. We came to church on weekends, so we never saw the man on Sunday. He had no reason to come. He was resting in his hotel, getting ready for Monday to go back to work. So that's how I came to learn about Bruno, and he was very patient with me. He allowed us to videotape right over his shoulder and take pictures and talk to him about his craft. And so we became very fond of him because he cooperated so well with us. He didn't throw us out. And at the same time, I came to see Anna Christoforidis' great talent. And Anna had traveled widely throughout Asia Minor and Italy and Greece looking at church architecture, sketching, buying books, and then coming home and then deciding which sort of combination she thought would work best combined with Bruno's artwork.
Right.
And I think the finished result is fantastic. I have become a tour guide, and so I'm always having busloads of people come in who want to see our cathedral. And I like to hear their comments afterwards. I've gotten some amazing comments from people who maybe served in the military and have lived in other countries and have seen all the temples in the East and Asia Minor and South America and everything. And many times they will come up and they will say that our work here is premier. This is a beautiful work and we should be so proud of it. And it's just wonderful that we have in-house talent to help bring this together.
I agree.
And I know that they argued amongst themselves. All artists do, you know. You shouldn't put that chandelier. Now you can't see the face of Christ. What are you doing? What are you thinking? The chandelier is there, isn't it? Yeah.
Our cathedral is like St. Sophia in Constantinople, with ours being 1/3 scale. Some say that the Orthodox Church has two Gospels, one written and the other visual. St. Basil said that the word transmits through the ear and the eye conveys through the image. Both complement each other for the understanding of the same thing. The Byzantine icons become mere paintings if it was not for the tradition of imaging of God. In the Byzantine churches in the late 16th and 17th century, every square inch of the wall was covered with mosaic icons. Standing inside an Orthodox church, one experiences the feeling of peace and comfort. Of looking at the holy images, you feel fellowship with Christ and the saints. To hear Byzantine hymns, you can experience the divine and audibly join in the heavenly choirs chanting to God.
These hymns have been melodically perfected throughout the centuries, and they should be passed on to our children as treasures of our Orthodox faith.
We're fortunate in this community to have many church musicians. Of the two notable ones, my father was a protopsati at this church for over 50 years. We also have an choir, Dr. George M. Sarabellis, who's been a choir director for over 50 years, many of those years here at our cathedral. Our choir program here is very successful, and we have over 60 choir members in our choir at present.
It's borrowed from an amalgam of other great works of church architecture. But the story that George has given us is that his mother was a young girl, a maid in Constantinople, and as she would walk to work to serve the family that she worked for, she would pass Hagia Sophia, and she was so taken by the majesty of it. Then coming to America and then having George and raising him in Martins Ferry, isn't that his hometown? Yorkville, I'm sorry. And then he went to architecture school. And then when he stepped forward to offer to be our architect, now mind you, churches were not his specialty. It was residential buildings and office buildings and that sort of thing. But he stepped forward and said he would like to be the architect. His mother said to him, I want you to go to Constantinople and I want you to look at that great church and see if you can copy that in some way in this church that you're designing. So he did. So he came back and he cobbled together this plan that we have now. We are about 1/3 scale from the original, yeah. But people come to visit this who have been to Turkey. I had a lady the other day who visited the service, and she said, I heard that this was like Hagia Sophia. She said, I've been to Hagia Sophia. She said, this is a jewel. Of course, Hagia Sophia is dark and falling down, or not falling down.
The Turks
but
have
it's,
taken it over.
Right, and so it's not been
Still
kept
beautiful.
up. Yes, it is. It is majestic.
It's
That's-
that dome that makes it, you know.
Yes. And so with the combination of George's talent and his gifts and offering the time and his craftsmen in his office who contributed greatly to this, and Randy Woodings was huge in this. Oh yeah, there have been awards for the masonry.
Yeah,
They got a special award. I sort of skidded in under the door because these guys did the heavy lifting. They did all the decision making. They went to meetings. They traveled around the country looking for ideas. They appeared in court. They dealt with enemies. They dealt with the press, who was not very sympathetic. They wrote some pretty unkind things about our community and gave us some bad press and made us look like scoundrels. And but then when the building started to come up, because we have the camera business, we thought it would be useful for us to come down and videotape the stages of clearing the land and then bulldozing and then starting the building up. So we did a lot of videotaping and photography because I thought this was a very important thing, not just for our community, but for the better growth of Columbus, Ohio. And it was valuable, and so I wanted to document this. Since the construction of our cathedral, we have been served by several priests, among whom were Father Anthony Saras, Father Frank Milanese, Father Michael Petridis, Father Nick Theodosian, Father Alex Papagikos, and Father John Stavropoulos. The iconostasis was delivered and installed in December of 1997. Bruno again returned along with the marble carvers to assemble the panels of mosaic icons, which were set into several tons of white Carrara marble. The completion date of our cathedral was July 1st, 1990. The total replacement cost of the new complex was estimated at $7,875,000. To separate it, the cathedral, administration wing, social hall, and kitchen were $3,700,000. The schoolrooms and gymnasium was $1 million. The interior embellishments and iconography were $675,000. The land value was set at about $2.2 million. The total for seating and standing in our church was estimated at about 705 people. We held our first service on July 1, 1990. We have a regulation-sized basketball court in the gym. The educational facilities include Sunday and Greek language classrooms. These rooms are also used by church-affiliated organizations. Our full-service catering kitchen can produce food to feed thousands at the annual Greek festival. The administration wing includes offices and meeting rooms. Through its rental, the social hall has become a source of income for our cathedral expenses. Together we have built a beautiful cathedral to the glory of God.
We held our first church service in our new social hall on Palm Sunday, April 23, 1989. 67 years after the first service at our old church on Palm Sunday, March 27, 1922. The completion date of our cathedral was estimated to be July 1st, 1990, and so it was.
Son of God, begotten of the Father before all ages, light of light, true God of true God, begotten, not made, one in essence with the Father, through whom all things were made, who for us men and for our salvation came down from heaven and was incarnated by the Holy Spirit and of the Virgin Mary and became man, and was crucified for us under Pontius Pilate, suffered and was buried, and rose on the third day according to the Scriptures, and ascended into heaven and sitteth at the right hand of the Father, and he shall come again with glory to judge the living and the dead, whose kingdom shall have no end. And in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceedeth from the Father, who with the Father and the Son together is worshipped and glorified, who spoke through the prophets. In one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, I acknowledge one baptism for the remission of sins. I look for the resurrection of the dead and the life of the ages to come.
Της ειρήνης του σύμπαντος κόσμου, ευσταθίας των Αγίων του Θεού Εκκλησιών. Παναγίας αχράντου υπερευλογημένης, εν δόξου δεσποίσιμον Θεοτόκου και αϊπαρθένου Μαρίας, με τα πάντων των Αγίων μνημονεύσαντες, εαυτούς και αλλήλους, και πάσαν την ζωή ημών, Χριστό το Θεό παραχόμεθα. Ότι αγαθός και φιλάνθρωπος Θεός υπάρχεις, και εσύ την δόξα αναπέμπομεν, το Πατρί και το Υιό και το Αγίο Πνεύματι, νυν και αΐ και εις τους αιώνας των αιώνων.
Αμήν. Αυτή η μέρα Κυρίου αγαλιασόμεθα και εφρανθόμεν εν αυτή. Αγγέλοι και δυνάμεις επί των μνήμα σου και οι φυλάσσοντες απενεκρώθησαν και είστε το Μαρία εν το τάφο ζητούσα το αγραντών σου σώμα εσκύλευσα στον Άδη μη πειραστείς υπ' αυτού η πίντη σας την παρθένω στην ζωή ο Αναστάς εκ των νεκρών Κύριε δόξα Συ.
Σοφία, ορθέ δεύτε προσκυνήσομεν και προσπέσομεν Χριστόν, σώσον ημάς Θεούν, ο Αναστάς εκ νεκρών.
Ψάλλοντας Αλληλούια.
We're at the Greek Orthodox Cathedral, and we're raising the dome, the copper dome that sits on top of the tower.
Yeah. Okay. Just as a timeline, I want to say this is pre-election week.
Προστασία των χριστιανών ακατέσχυνται με σιτία προς τον ποιητήν αμετάθετε. Πι παρήντης αμαρτωλών δεησέων φωνάς, αλλά προφάσουν πως αγαθήν εις την βοήθεια ημών των πίστος κραυγαζόντων σοι τάχινον εις πρεσβείαν και σπεύσον εις οικεσίαν η προστατεύουσα αε.
Θεότο και των τιμώντων σε
του Κυρίου δεηθόμεν.
Kyrie eleison.
masons who worked, I'm throwing this in for free, one of the masons who worked on the cathedral came back and constructed this addition that we're sitting in now. And I saw him out in the parking lot last summer before last. Just a little skinny bearded guy, and he was building a little pretend wall out there. So I started taking pictures of him, and I said, "Tell me about yourself." Well, he said, "I'm just kind of a bum. I was in Vietnam and I came home. I didn't know what to do with myself." And he says, "I used to drink a lot and I needed a job, and somebody said, go out to Ohio. They need bricklayers." He said, "I didn't know anything about mixing cement or laying bricks," but he came out and signed on to a crew, and he learned how to lay bricks from the master bricklayers. Now he is the chief guy on the team of all the bricklayers. He's now the master bricklayer. And I watched him work, and he had skilled hands. Boy, he could handle that trowel and the cement and everything. The reason he built that little wall was to expose the bricks to the sun to see how much the sun was going to suck the color out of it, because he wanted a seamless look from our 20-year-old building to connect with the new part. I defy you to find where it is, because it is such a good match in color, because he just kept fooling with the colors of the bricks to select the one that matched ours, which are faded now. And the same for the tiles on the roof. They ordered them according to one that was somewhat bleached from 20 years of being exposed to Ohio sunshine. So they sent that to the ovens where the new ones were fired. And it's a beautiful match. I mean, I just marvel at all of these details. But if you drive by, you don't think about that.
No,
you don't look up and say, "My golly, look how that matches that." But the detail, the trouble and time they went to blend this together. We are very privileged. We are very privileged to have this building and to have each other.
This addition is put the icing on the cake.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's just wonderful.
Put the icing on the cake.
Yes. This is a sample brick wall that was put up by Jeff Evans, who's the master mason on this project. And he did it with 2 different colors of cement so that they could choose which one matched the best to the existing walls that are around the cathedral. He also was a bricklayer on the original building. There you see some of it in the background, with the nice arches over the windows, and then this interesting point work along the base of the roof line. And he was one of the masons that worked on that 19 years ago. And so now that the sun has had many years to bake and to suck some of the color out, he redid this new wall so that they could choose which color cement most closely matches the one they used the last time.
Το Πατρί και το Υιό και το Αγίο Πνεύματι, νυν και αΐ και εις τους αιώνας των αιώνων. Αμήν.
Cathedral is a shining Columbus landmark, and as an ethnic community, we receive the honor and respect of our Columbus friends, as demonstrated each year at the Capitol building.
The advantage of being in an ethnic community, a church community, is enormous. It's like an extended family that reaches out and helps you raise your children, gives them values, and gives you many friends who support you throughout your career and your life. It's just tremendous being in a community like this.
Together we have built a beautiful cathedral to the glory of God, in memory of our forefathers, and an invaluable inheritance for our successors, for the continuation of our faith and cultural tradition.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be my name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
This is our Greek Orthodox Cathedral, the Annunciation. Within this holy wall, our children are baptized, receive their first communion, and we unite in holy matrimony with our life's companions.